and welcome. It is lovely to be here with you all on this March day. It's cold and beautiful, and the trees around me are blooming, and lots of buzzing and bees lately, which has just been really fun to see, and the robins making their nests, and just here we are in the beauty of spring. And being surrounded by all sorts of other things that maybe aren't so beautiful or are unknown, that all the things that life brings our way. And so today in the Mindfulness Broadcast, we're going to focus on bringing our attention to the present moment. There are a bazillion things happening that can call your attention away from the present moment. And so we're going to use the age-old process of using our senses to really drop into this present moment, and knowing that we can do this anywhere at any time. We don't have to use all five senses. We don't have to follow some prescribed process. We can just drop in. We can use any one of these at any time and really bring ourselves back so that we can actively listen to somebody who is sharing a story, so that we can notice this beautiful blossom or this moment of a tree budding out and bringing us back into what is, or even dropping into a moment of hardship or grief or strong emotion so that we can be purposeful and present with it. All right, so we're going to start this morning. We are going to keep our eyes open. Actually, we're going to use our eyes to just scan around. And for me, this is a big, expansive view. I'm in a park. I'm kind of on a hill. I can see a lot. Also, you might be in an office. You might not have windows. You might be in a cubicle where when you look up, you're meeting other people's eyes. And so use whatever version of that just allows you to drop into your present moment. So you might be just scanning what is right directly in front of you. You might be moving your eyes up and noticing things. So just notice. Just see what you see, and seeing if you can not go into story about it. So, for example, for me, I can look out and quite quickly start to go, we shouldn't have all this happening in mid-March. This should still feel cold, and we shouldn't have the sunshine, and we shouldn't. So I can go into my own story, and I'm no longer present. Or looking around and seeing, I need to deal with that pile and that paper on top I was supposed to call, and I'm no longer present. So what we're doing is scanning our environment visually and just noticing what is there. And we might even be slightly narrating that for ourselves. So I'm seeing this, I'm noticing the color in this, I'm seeing this. And then if those thoughts keep getting in the way, we can notice the thoughts as well. I'm noticing I'm really getting pulled into story here. Let me come back and just notice the colors. Notice the details. Notice the patterns. And just coming into that. And then at this point, if you'd like to, you can close your eyes. You can also take a soft gaze, which just means you're lowering your eyes and really no longer purposefully noticing what's present. You might just bring your attention to one thing, or close your eyes entirely. Now I want you to drop into what you're hearing. And I notice, I'm saying this with kind of that privilege of having sight and having sound and having feeling, not being a numbness or having paralysis. And so what I want to do is just remind you can drop into this at whatever level is your ability and what you can bring to this moment. So just wanting to make sure we're making space for whatever we are bringing into this moment. So wherever you can meet this invitation, notice what you are hearing. This park I'm in happens to be settled right next to the I-5 corridor, so I can hear the traffic. Lots and lots of traffic. It's even so constant I can easily transform it into sounding like an ocean. And that's kind of that first layer. That's what's really prevalent. But then as I acknowledge that, I can start to go a little bit deeper. I'm hearing larger birds. And then if I go a level deeper, I'm hearing tiny songbirds. And if I go a little bit deeper, I can hear somebody way over there in the skate park. Just continuing to think of it as layers, and you're just going a little bit deeper, a little bit deeper. If it's quiet enough, you might hear your own heart beating and that pulse that hits our eardrums. You might hear your clothes. I have corduroy pants on, so I'm hearing those shimmy against each other as I move. And now moving our next sensation into our body. What do you feel? And I'm going to invite you to stay externally if you can. So are you feeling your shoes maybe push against your toes? Feeling your clothing on your skin? If you have earrings, noticing, can you feel those? If you have hair, noticing. If you have barrettes in that hair or your hair is pulled up, can I feel that on my scalp? You might even invite some purposeful stimulation on the skin, so you can rub your hands together or push your forefinger and your thumb together. I'm sitting on a cold metal box, and I can feel that both pushing into my skin, and I can feel the coolness. And then in the same way we did with our hearing, we're going to drop a little bit deeper into this feeling. So we've been focusing on external. We're going to go internal now. Noticing what's happening inside of this amazing body of ours. Can we feel the gurgle of hunger or digestion? Maybe there are places that feel easy and fluid. Maybe there's places that feel challenging and there's discomfort. And again, not dropping into story in any of these, but just noticing and naming. Might have moments where areas where we feel tension. And in these internal experiences, we might invite ease if we can, or we might just notice them since they're already there. And then going a layer deeper, and perhaps you're noticing some emotions that are present for you. Sometimes we're just kind of floating along, and sometimes we might have an emotion that feels really big. And that can be joy. It can be anxiety. And sometimes it feels like we can chuck all the emotions into a blender and they're all present, swirling around. So we're just noticing. None of them are right or wrong or good or bad. We're just noticing and naming our own landscape. We might notice we're feeling tired or awake. We're just noticing. And we're going to move to some purposeful breathing here in a moment, but what I want you to think about is all of this that we noticed, all of this that is present for us. How do we want to be with that as we go through our day? So if I feel tension, if I feel tired, if I feel joyful, if I feel excited, if I have pain, if I have ease, how do I want to be with myself since that already is? Can I invite self-compassion? Can I invite rest? Can I invite boundaries? And in our final couple minutes here before we completely close out and leave each other today, I want to invite us for some purposeful breathing. So the idea being that when we do this little check-in with ourselves, like, how am I? What is present for me? What is the landscape of me today? We can then use our breath to really come into a place of presence to answer that question of how do I want to be with me? So here I am, how do I want to be with me? And we can use our breath to really invite some great answers and some great introspection to that. So again, you can meet this with your eyes open or your eyes closed. And we're going to play with our breath this morning. So we're going to start with 2 quick inhales and 2 quick exhales. And I'm recovering from flu, so that's going to get some coughing from me. Inhaling, exhaling. Again, inhaling, exhaling. And now you're going to breathe in and then hold that at the top. And then a long, slow exhale. Again, inhaling to the top, holding, exhale, long and slow. And we're going to repeat that pattern one more time. Quick inhales, exhale. Again, inhale, exhale. Inhaling to the top, holding, and a long, slow exhale. Inhaling to the top, holding, and then a very long, slow exhale. And when you're done, you're just returning to your normal breath. Slowly opening your eyes or bringing your gaze back together. And as you exhale and prepare to leave, I want to just remind you that this is it. This is the life we're living. Be good to you. Be present with what is. And be gentle. Be well, everyone.